Hello, guys, and welcome back to the podcast. I am so happy you were here for episode 4 with Gideon LaRue. We are doing a Wisdom with Gideon LaRue series because this man is amazing, and I'm so happy and grateful that he is back. Um, I am Meroula, and Gideon, thank you so much for being here, and I'm so excited to just jump on into this episode. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Meroula. Very nice to talk with you again. It's always a
Amazing.
pleasure to have your bubbling company.
Good. We definitely had some technical issues before this, so we've been already speaking about a lot. But we're going to jump straight in because when we do, everything just flows. All right.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
amazing.
So I've been thinking about something and I just want to jump straight in with that. Is that okay?
Go for it. Please be my guest.
In my clinic, I see people with painful conditions. I see people
Mm.
with emotional conditions. I see people who want to get pregnant. That's a
Wow.
range of different things. But over the years, emotions have always fascinated me.
Hmm. Me
Both the
too.
emotions that I feel and the emotions that I feel of another person and their emotions. So there's three things. One is my emotions, one is the emotions I sense in another person, and then there is their emotion that they're experiencing and the reporting on it.
Hmm.
For example, you could come in and I could be sad because my dog just died,
Hmm.
right? Or you could come in and I sense there's a cloud of sadness hanging over you,
Yes.
right? And you might not be fully aware of that. Uh, or you could come in and you could tell me about your dog that just died and how you're feeling about it. And but it's not as evident on the outside. So I've been thinking about emotions. It's not really what I'm really trying to say is that I used to judge emotions. So I used to say to be angry is bad. And I'm trying to reframe that for myself now. And let's say when Marula is angry, what boundary of hers did I cross? Or when I feel angry, what boundary of mine has been crossed? Or
Hmm.
if I feel anxious, what projection am I putting into the future that's out of alignment with where my current trajectory is going?
Oh, this is so amazing because I've always had in my belief is always emotions are guiding you. I'm a,
Yes,
I'm I'm deeply emotional. I'm a deeply emotional person. Everything that I feel you can see in my face. And I experience a lot of different emotions, right? It's not just black and white, it's not gray, it's like turquoise. What's these other weird colors? Like there's all these faded and pastel colors blended in there too. I think that's beautiful. I think that's the human experience to really feel your emotions, no matter how overwhelming they are and no matter how intense they are. What a gift to be able to feel your emotions. Now, that's not to say that every emotion you feel, you need to blindly react to it. Like, I feel sad, so I'm just going to wallow in this. And I feel angry, so I'm just going to lash out at this next person that's going to come at me. But they are signposts, and it's what you just said. Which boundary has been crossed? Have you hit your threshold of how much you can handle? Right? Perfect example was yesterday. I worked non-stop behind my laptop screen in complete flow state, right? This is my happy place, in complete flow state. I really believe when the creativity hits, you freaking use it, right? Because it's not there all the time. So you have to know when is power moments and when it's time to pull back and rest. Yesterday was a power day and I had to get a lot done. It got to 7 p.m. I was taking my dog out for a walk. I hit my limit and I could feel myself, my chest closing in, anxiety rising, and the doubt creeping in. And I was like, do you know, in that moment, I was so self-aware and I said, you've hit your limit. No way. I'm not going to give any more energy to my phone. Put it away. You've done so much work today because the mind can feed you with you've not done enough. You still have to tick this off your to-do list. I put it away. I took a deep breath. I actually touched a tree, gave my negativity to the tree as we
Did,
do.
did you hug the tree?
I didn't.
Uh,
Yesterday,
we're going
I
to turn
do.
you into a
Oh no,
tree
I
hugger
love.
very soon.
I already am a tree hugger. Yesterday, though, like because it was on the side of the road, like cars were driving past. I just touched the tree. But I said I give all my negativity away, take it, recycle it. A psychic once told me that trees are incredible for taking out of you the negativity. So give the negativity over to the tree recycles it. Um, and it was so powerful, but it was the self-awareness. It was like I could have easily been like, I'm overwhelmed, I've hit my limit, messaged a friend, right? Passed that energy on to her. Like, so emotions are amazing signposts, but I think we can really fall into the emotion, especially if you're very sensitive. And then you can start to analyze and pick it apart. Why do I feel anxious? Why do I feel like this? When actually it's pretty simple. It's what you just said. A boundary has been crossed. You've given too much to something. You've not taken a break. It could be as simple as you haven't had a glass of water in 2 hours.
Simple as that. I think water should be the first stop for everybody. If you're feeling
Mm,
hungry, have you had a sip of water? Are you
yes.
misinterpreting the signal of thirst as hunger? I need to put something in my mouth, you know?
Mm, yes.
And that if you get into the habit of just a mouthful of water when you feel anything, that mouthful of water gives you the moment to pause and to actually feel, what am I really feeling? Right?
Mm,
Is this hunger or is this just thirst? Is this just me wanting to put sugar in my body to keep my
mm,
brain firing optimally? Um, or is this a signal for me that I need to take a breath? I need to
yeah.
relax, right? What is the signal actually telling me? And how clearly am I reading my signals? So what I love what you said earlier is you said, I have this feeling, right?
Mm,
So that means you are not the feeling, you're having the feeling. It's like
yeah.
grief. This beautiful English expression that a cloud of grief descended upon me. I heard a
Mm.
poet say. And that's such a
Oh,
beautiful description because the grief is not me. The
no.
grief is the blanket that I'm wearing. The grief is the comfort that I need after the person that I loved has passed away and they can't hug me. Now I have to use the blanket to
Mm.
hug me.
Oh, the blankets. That is so amazing because you can take the blanket off.
Exactly. Exactly. If grief becomes the blanket because you need the hug, then grief is also the blanket that you can wash and fold and put in the cupboard. It doesn't mean you won't think about them again. And when there is a moment when you miss them, maybe that's when you pull that blanket out and put it over your lap again and say,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, Ma, I'm thinking of you."
Mm.
Just those words can be enough to let that grief spill over you, spill through you, but also leave you. It doesn't
Yes.
to stay with you all the time because you're not thinking about Ma all the time. You know, sometimes you just have to go and milk the cow,
Yeah. Yeah,
and that just
exactly.
has to happen, right?
I
And there'll
think
be
it's,
time again.
yeah, I think it's also really beautiful to feel the grief because crying and releasing in this sense is so beautiful. It's like a stream of water that's just continuously flowing. And if we keep that grief inside, or if we busy ourselves so much that we don't let ourselves feel that grief, that's going to come up at one point or another in our lives. and it follows you until you've dealt with it. I experience grief a lot. You can mourn a situation that you thought was going to happen that didn't happen, right? Grief can unfold in many different ways. It doesn't have to be because someone has died, although for sure that's on the larger scale, like to have someone close to you leave and you no longer ever going to see this person again. You have to really that's like a on the larger scale of grief. But I think grief is something we can all experience on a daily basis, you know, and sometimes we don't even realize where it's coming from. But
So
I
in the
think it's,
medicine,
yeah.
in the Chinese medicine, sorry to interrupt you, Marula, um, they have when I did the study around this, if grief is considered, say, a negative emotion, not that I
Mm,
like to label things, but
mm,
um, the Chinese medicine do a very interesting exercise, and they say, and it belongs to the lungs, right? We cry from our lungs. It's our heart that's grieving, but it's our lungs that wrap around the heart, and
oh,
it's the shaking of that that is the intense experience of grief, of the sadness, the crying.
mm,
But and we curl forward, we curl up, we contract, we hollow our chest
mm,
um, because it's empty. The heart space becomes empty, and we're trying to once again that blanket idea of wrapping around our lungs are wrapping around our heart. But there is an opposite emotion to grief,
yeah.
and it's very triggering. The opposite emotion is righteousness.
Oh, yes.
And I'm not saying self-righteousness, I'm saying correctness. So um,
Explain.
I
Yes.
I can give you an example of how I've harnessed this in my own life. Um, my I love my mother, right? I'm a real mama's boy. I love my mom very much. I'm the only child, and she doted on me when I was a kid, and I think she kind of programmed me as to how much I love her, but I love her to bits.
Oh, wow. She trained you good.
So I spent years away from the country. So I came back for holidays and I phoned her regularly, and my father too. Um, but I was not present in their lives for more than half my life.
Mhm.
And and I've purposely come back to Cape Town, South Africa, to be with them, to not cause a massive grief hole in me for the future. So I'm trying to do the right action by being here and by being present for their last half of their life, so that I'm trying to mitigate future grief I'm dreading with
Mm,
current correct action, showing up correctly, showing up in the correct way, and keeping the conversations positive and uplifting is
mhm.
how I'm trying to combat future grief, right? So I took it one step further. The first time I turned up 3 years ago, when I turned up at mum's house, I took her a big bunch of flowers and I said to her, Ma, this is the flowers I'm giving you, and I'm going to give you every time I see you, you're going to get flowers. So get used to it. And 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 at your funeral, there's going to be no flowers. So I want to incentivize you to live long.
Wow.
But I'm trying to show my mum I'm here for right action. I'm
Hmm.
here to that I'm not trying to fix it up after it's too late. I don't want to bring you flowers after you're gone. I want to bring you flowers now because the flowers are for you, not for me. When I take them to the funeral, then the flowers are for me. I'm trying to make a grim situation more beautiful.
Mm. I think people realize too late. I think this happens to everyone.
Yes,
When their parents are gone, I wish I spent more time with them. I wish I could have understood them. I wish I, right? Everyone's living with this regret of what they wish.
yes.
And
And
that's,
that's the heart of grief. We're
yeah.
really what I want to do is when my mum passed, I want to be in the healthy state emotionally where I can celebrate her life, where I can
Mhm.
give a eulogy, where I'm not crippled in my own pain, but I can actually lift her up and say, look at this amazing woman. Look at what her life has meant for us. Look at what an example she was for us. And
Mm.
so I'm allowing myself to feel bits of that grief by anticipating that time before it arrives. So when the time arrives, I can be upright. I can be the best example of what she wanted to put forward in life because I will
Yeah.
represent her. I'm the only one there that can represent her.
Mhm.
I'm the child, you know, so
Mm.
I'm the continuation of who she was. So I've got to keep her values going. So that's, I'm just trying to show with something in my own life. We could use an anger example the same way, right?
Yeah, before that, was there something that happened in your life that made you realize I need to go back for my parents? I need to spend more time with them. I want what switched for you?
I think my switch happened in COVID.
Mm,
My switch happened in a phone call with my mother when she expressed to me when it was when the hard lockdowns were and you had to have a bloody vaccine passport
oh my gosh.
to go anywhere. And I was one of those people that wasn't getting foreign substances in my body.
Did you get the vaccine?
No, I did not.
I didn't.
Oh, well, my body just said to me it doesn't want it. But it
I
was a
thought,
hard.
what in the actual F is going on? There's no way I'm putting that inside my body.
So my parents wanted me to get the vaccine so I can get this passport so I
Yes.
could fly to them. And my mum was saying to me, she was in tears. She said, I might never see you again.
Hmm.
That's the moment when she said, I might never see you again. I realized that she carries a lot of pain because she wouldn't
Mm.
say something like that willy nilly. That's that in that phone call. I decided, okay, I'm going to come back. I'm going to give you the opposite of what you fear.
That was the first time she'd kind of shown this fear that was inside her to
Yes,
you. So she
yes.
was vulnerable.
She was vulnerable. And instead of saying then to her, Mum, I'll come and I'll fix it, I kept it quiet and I thought, how can I take that moment and really turn it totally on its head? Not just come for a visit, but if I come to live here close to her, what impact will that have on her life? What impact will that have on my life?
Mm.
Right? And my children's lives. Can this thing be a good thing? If I pay, that's where you pay attention to the emotion.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
There's like signposts. Ooh,
yes, the
where
signpost
do
is
I
such
need
a
to
beautiful
go?
thing. You know,
Yes.
the emotion is really showing you something. Okay, pay attention to this. And how do I pay attention in such a way that this problem disappears?
Hmm.
And that it not just disappears, but that you have a field of flowers where the problem was before.
Let's try and think of someone that is um maybe struggled with anxiety their whole life and they do all the right things because I think anxiety is very common, especially like nowadays, social media, comparison, blah blah blah. And
Okay.
let's yeah, let's think of someone that has maybe had a lot of anxiety their whole life. They're doing all the right things. They have a successful job. They're maybe they don't even realize they're not happy with their job. All the surface level things is tick, 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 but there's this deep underlying anxiety. How could we guide someone that has this emotion?
Okay, so if I think of anxiety, normally that anxiety is connected to future events,
Yes,
right?
yes, fear of
So,
the future.
so when there's uncertainty,
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of people in Japan or in India or in China right now is anxious because there's energy uncertainty. We don't know if in Southeast Asia, if there's going to be enough fuel to drive
Mhm.
everybody's vehicle. It might be that um, That fuel is stored for emergency vehicles or for things that takes higher priority. So it could be quite anxious inducing if I know I can't use my vehicle. I can't fill up my scooter with petrol, or I can't fill up my car with petrol, and I have to walk wherever I have to go. That could be quite a disruption to my life, and it can make me feel anxious.
But that's one life event. So
That's
that's
one life event. I'm just
mm,
trying to bring it down to a specific event, and I'm trying to make it a big event that many people can relate to.
mhm.
And if I take it now back to, we talked before about COVID. I was in New Zealand when COVID happened. When the first lockdown happened, we thought it was going to create a lot of angst for people, but actually it created a lot of liberation for people. They enjoyed not having to go to work. They
I think it
enjoyed,
created both. It was the extreme
yes,
feelings of both anxiety, but also maybe freedom. Yeah.
it's a sense of freedom.
Mm,
So what I'm getting at is when anxiousness comes, like when an event that we don't have control over that's going to impact us, when the actual experience of it happens, it's quite different to when the imagination of it happens,
mhm,
right? So if I imagine being told you're not allowed to leave your house, that could be anxious inducing.
mhm,
But if I experience it of, wow, I've got time to do some craft now. Let's make a blanket. Let's carve a spoon. Let's do something for other people. Let's
mhm.
start baking sourdough bread, right?
Yes.
So
Oh, yes.
then the experience shows me that in a potentially difficult situation, I
Mm,
thrived. But if the experience happens where somebody says you can't go outside, and I go lie in my bed,
yeah.
then that can be quite a negative experience. So then that will lead to further anxiety.
Mhm.
What am I going to do tomorrow? So I think for me, and I don't experience a lot of anxiousness, right? So that maybe I'm not the right person to talk to about this, but
I think what you're saying is amazing though. And to compare it to the time that everyone experienced,
yes.
everyone felt anxiety.
So just imagine, right? We go into the situation and there's no fuel in our city wherever we are. Maybe it's time then we dust off the bicycles. Maybe become a bicycle mechanic, start a new job, because the bicycle doesn't need petrol and I can still get around. And I can actually have a lot of fun with it because how free is it to ride a bicycle again?
Oh, yes.
Right? So it anxiousness is when we haven't faced a situation yet and we expect the worst from it.
Mm,
That should be for me, it's the reminder. If I'm feeling anxious because I'm going into a strange situation that's uncomfortable, that's my cue to say to myself, okay, I have to go into this situation.
yes.
Am I going to do it kicking and screaming, or am I going to walk willingly into it and get ahead of it and see how I can harness it for my entertainment, for my health, for my beauty, for how
Mm.
can I turn this, how can I turn the frown upside down?
So
That's,
powerful, amazing, Gideon. This is incredible what you're saying. It's all perception and the way that we take control of a situation and stop allowing the outside to control our inner world.
yes,
Correct?
yes. The
And
inner world is
yeah,
where you have control.
you
The
always have
outer world
control.
is always vulnerable.
But you're also saying that you must take charge of your life. Like you can sit and wallow in those feelings, or you can get up and do something about them.
Yes.
It's everything that I having a dancer background taught me and ingrained into me so much discipline, right? You get up and you do that hard thing when you don't want to do it. There's no other choice. You do it. And
I did it with my son the other day.
mm,
He had mucked up. Let's not
mm,
beat around the bush. He had mucked up and he was feeling guilty and shitty about the fact that he had mucked up. He'd
mm.
seriously mucked up, right? Uh, and he was feeling terrible about it because he couldn't hide the muck up, right?
Oof.
And it was not something that he could fix straight away. It was going to take time to fix, right? So, and before he could fix it, other people had to do stuff. And he could put the request out, but he can't force them to do it. So he's just sitting and wallowing, feeling shitty
Mhm.
because he's ashamed, right? He mucked up. And now the emotion is he's experiencing is shame. So I said to him, and this is where it relates to you being a dancer.
Mm.
We're busy doing renovations in my house, and my bedroom's got quite a lot of space in it at the moment. I said to him, let's put on some music, right? Whatever music you want, just put some music on. So he put some music on, and I said, okay, now get on the floor here and start shaking,
I love it.
all right?
That's
And
exactly what my advice would be.
it, he's a bloody teenager, he's so
Yeah,
shy. So
yes.
I had to do it with him, right? And I had to really encourage him to get past his initial inertia of my dad's stupid and I
This,
can't dance.
look at how stupid I look right now. Yes. Get
Exactly.
out.
We have to get past all that
Yes.
stuff.
You
That's
have to
the
get out
hard
your own
stuff.
way. Mm.
But once he started moving, within the short amount of time of 5 minutes, one song, he could not find the shame inside himself anymore
Yes. This
because
is what I teach.
the emotions are transitory by nature.
Hmm.
So you can retard the transitory by going lying in your bed, curling up, pulling the blankets over you, shutting the door and the curtains, and doing nothing,
Hmm.
just feeling sorry for yourself. And you can have a good cry there, you could lie there. And the only reason when you're going to come up, if you've got to go to the toilet or you're hungry as hell, right? Then you might sneak to the fridge. But you're moving as little as possible. And that's how you trap the emotion.
Mm.
Because you're physically, and I don't care what emotion it is, it's true for all emotions. If you're physically freezing yourself up, you're holding that emotion.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And the opposite to that is dancing. The opposite is free dancing. I'm not talking about going to doing the tango, but maybe that's what
Yeah.
we do. I'm really talking about moving your body to feel your body, to get embodied again, so that you can get control of your center core and that you're not diving into the emotion and making the emotion your center.
Hmm.
Finding your own center, you do through movement, and then the emotion becomes something that sits outside of you. And
Hmm.
once it's outside of you, if you dance enough, it will leave. Because there's nothing to get stuck. There's no place to get stuck.
Hmm.
And that's what I love about what you do with your Meroula method.
Let's,
Um,
I wish people, I must sound like a broken record because this is what I teach people. It's like move the energy out of your body or else it just lingers in there. You could feel like a whole new person in 2 minutes, a whole new human. Because I
yeah,
think we get so wrapped up with the situation that we're in now that it's fog all around us. We can't see anything else. Shake it off, get into your body and out of your mind, and watch what happens. It's incredible and it's very powerful and it builds momentum. And momentum is the thing that you need in order to attract everything else that you need in your life. First, get your physical health correct and right. So you can then be an open channel to have more creativity, to have more abundance, to have more financial wealth. But if you're like this and everything's dark, eventually everything else in your life is going to drop away. It's only a matter of time.
I find that when people move like that, if they move for as little as 20 minutes, I think it's 99.99% certain that they will be smiling.
I love this is why I do what I do. Do you know what? This is something I've been saying from the very beginning. When I used to teach group classes in London, and I used to just envision a girl, say Amy, came in, and I see Amy's eyes. It's all in the eyes. I've always been a reader of eyes.
Yeah,
I see her eyes in the beginning of the class before it started. Just, hi, how are you? Come in. She doesn't know who I am. I don't know who she is. She's just someone that's booked into the class.
yeah,
I can see in her eyes sadness, right? And fog, confusion, dullness of,
yes,
oh, you know that slump?
yes. The
Yeah,
great,
or I had to exercise, so I booked a class. My gosh, if I didn't get paid for the rest of my life, but I saw even 12 of those eyes at the end of the class, it's
yeah,
the whites around, I always talk about the whites around the eyes, bright, like a whole new life in someone.
yes,
It's
yes.
life. Life is in the eyes.
The Chinese have a name for that. They call it peach luck.
What's
The
this?
sh That's the shine that you're describing that comes out of people's eyes. So
Wow.
they say people with eyes like that are luckier. Things come to them.
I've
And you
never
can,
understood any concept. I've just always seen eyes. I've always recognized eyes in people, and I can see when it's shielded with darkness because
yeah,
I've had experiences of that when someone's reacting and they go black, the eyes. And then I all I see is from all the classes and studios and pop-ups that I've done, it's the shift. It's the shift from the before and after. And I'm like, okay, look at the difference in the eyes.
so
What the
Marilla, that's
yeah.
your motivation,
Oh
right?
wow.
That buzzes you to see the transformation in people. I like that.
Yeah, I love this.
I specifically like when pain is shifted. Emotional pain,
Mm,
physical pain, doesn't matter what pain. I love when pain leaves the body. For me, that's a great moment. These are the things that motivate us. But the student that comes to your class, what motivates them is the joy with which they attract the abundance they're seeking in their lives that
mhm.
comes after having been in your class.
I believe so. It falls into every area of your life. That's what I'm
Every
saying.
area, yes.
Focus on the physical, focus on taking care of yourself, focus on doing little by little each day to get yourself out of the mind and out of the negativity and out of the situations that are going on in your life. Because let's face it, there's going to continuously be challenges in life. That is
Yes,
life,
yes, that's
right?
life.
But if you
Yeah.
don't get up and do something about it, and if you don't fall into this trap of everything shit, every life is just shit. If you fall into that trap, there's no hope. That's like a cancer in your life and it feeds into every area. And eventually everything's going to crumble. So it's your job to pick yourself up in the morning. Do start your day with positivity. Start your day with speaking out loud what you want to bring in, right? And not doing the same thing as you did the day before. And little by little, doing something more, something different, shifting your perspective, more self awareness. These are all things that we do have to do on our own. And no
So
one.
let
Mhm.
me ask you a question. Well, I get exactly what you're talking about.
I'm very
And,
passionate about this.
and that's part of what motivates me to move in the morning.
Yes.
But what do you do with a student or a client that comes in with a fog over their eyes and they have a shift during the experience with you and they walk out and they feel better?
Hmm.
but they feel, okay, now I've fixed it,
Mm.
right? What do you do to encourage, motivate, inspire the people that you're in touch with not to settle for mediocre good feeling? What do you do to inspire them to get to that point where they are not willing to drop down be certain where they take their level, right, which is normal, and they were here, that's why they came to see you. You help them to pop above
Mm.
normal and sit here. How do you take them to take this level and up level it?
So my first response to this is I can't push them to do that. They have to be willing to do that. I
Sure.
cannot force them and inject into them. I would be doing something wrong. They have to be ready. I would, because I'm being too pushy and I've always been this person. It's like, look, but I've experienced it, so you have to experience it, when you've got
Yes.
something that you know works and you want the whole world to experience it. But you can't convince people that are not ready to change. But my I have confidence that that person, when the timing is right, they see one post of mine, or I pop into their mind, or I they wake up one day and realize, no, I've fallen off track. I need to get back on track. And it's just a simple shift. But I'm not going to be there throwing in their face, chasing. It's going against my spiritual work.
So I agree with you 100%. And I think all we have to do is create those spaces for people to regularly check in and lift their energy, right? So
Yeah.
if you have a dance practice and you do it once a week, right? So you go to a class once a week, that could keep you at maybe functional level. But the moment you decide to go to 2 classes a week, your energy that you're putting in is bigger, right? And and then I think it naturally happens that you won't do the things that bring you down. You'll start identifying them. Um, we might think when we're in a low space, right? Anxiety, grief, uh, fear, uh, worry, no matter what the negative emotion is, when we're in a low space, we think it's permanent. So that when we have an experience that lifts us out of that, we love the relief. It's like getting a breath of air after you've been underwater. And then you think, okay, well, I can do the battle again. You go underwater again. But if you come up for air enough, right, you're going to say, why am I going underwater? What is the
It,
benefit
mm,
of going underwater? And if you stay there for long enough, you're going to start wanting to fly.
oh, it's a different frequency.
It's a different frequency. That's how
It
you,
is very hard to go backwards after that.
yeah.
It's
So
happened. Yes.
for my
Continue.
students, what I say to them, all you have to do is turn up regularly enough for
Hmm.
a month or 2 months. After this thing, it will have its own momentum.
Oh, yes. Totally, totally, 1,000% agree. I have to watch this though, because there's only so much I can promote. I create these challenges, even this 21-day program that I did recently, and I'm not joking, I committed to every single day. We spoke about this before.
Yes, yes, I
I
remember.
was seeing you, and it was your idea to do something like this?
Yes,
Oh my
yes,
gosh,
yes.
this just crossed my mind. I did this 21-day challenge. I showed up for 21 days. The momentum that I built and the motivation that it ingrained into me, it put me back onto my game.
Exactly.
And
And
it's,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Making the decision to turn up one day is wonderful. But making the commitment to turn up for yourself for 1 month, right, is life shifting.
mm,
And that's the decision I want to get to my client or my student. Turning them up, well done, you've turned up. right, let's get you feeling fantastic today. But if you want to shift where your feeling level is at, turn up for a month and do it
Mhm.
with me. And you're not going to be prepared to, you're going to identify what brings you down. Say it's alcohol, because alcohol is
Yes.
a theme that I saw today earlier with clients. I had a client, here's an example, right, that figured out that she dips every Monday, right?
Mm.
On her normal level, every Monday there's a dip. And so she booked her appointments to come see me on Mondays. And each Monday I would say to her for, say, 2 months in a row, let's figure out why you're feeling a dip today. And inevitably it was Saturday night or Friday night's party.
Alcohol. Oh my gosh.
And
Yes.
alcohol was one of those components. Sometimes there was other substances, but that was a key component, right? So then I said to her, do a test for yourself. Do one weekend without alcohol, and we see what the dip is like on the Monday. So
Mm.
do an experiment. So we did the experiment, and there was still a dip, but it was less than half the depth. And she said, "Oh, well, I actually feel okay today." So I
Hmm.
said, "Okay, now let's get your okay to be a different place. Try for 1 month, not have alcohol and see what happens." 2 weeks later, she came back and says, "I don't need treatment today. I feel quite good." I said, "Yeah, you just feel normal."
Yeah. It stays in your body and there's a cleansing process. Alcohol
Yeah.
can take you down fast. I
Now,
really get it.
now she's not drinking anymore at all, right? By choice. And I said, "Well, if you're at a wedding, you can have a glass of champagne, like, don't,
Mhm.
don't, we want to get the extremes gone." But she says, "No, no, if I drink a glass of champagne, then I'll have a second one before you
And
know."
then she'll have a bottle. Yeah.
Exactly. So she
Yeah.
said, "No, it's simpler for me right now to not have any, but it's impacting my life in other ways. Now I can't stand my boyfriend when he turns up drunk. I don't
Interest.
want him close to me."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, you got to communicate that to him. It's okay for him to drink, but he can't have alcohol in his veins when he's with you,
Hmm.
because that's not working for you right now. You don't have to throw the boyfriend away. You just have to communicate with him. And then there'll be a couple of times where you test that boundary that you've created. All right. And then he has to make a decision. Do I adapt to the boundary or do I move away? Then it becomes his choice. And she maintains her vibration at the higher level. And that's what she's looking for.
If you really want to get in control of your life, remove alcohol. It clears out the cobwebs for the other areas of your life. It's a mask. It can become a fog. And by the way, I drink. I never drink when I'm here in Scotland. I don't know what it is. I just go, it's just it's home for me. I don't do this. But obviously being in Cape Town for 3 months, having all these distractions, having all these events, plans, new thing every week or every night of the week, you saw how much this took me down and
Yeah.
how much it disconnects you. We're all different, but I know my purpose in life and it disconnects me from the light. That's the number one
So,
thing it does.
so I'm not anti-alcohol. Let's be clear about that. Um, but in my life, it's not a thing at all now, right?
Mm.
So funny, for my birthday, somebody gave me a very good bottle of red wine, and I took it home and I said to my son, "We've got given a bottle of red wine." And he says, "Yeah, but what are you going to do with it?" I said, "Actually, I'm just going to have it here. Maybe we'll use it for cooking,
Oh
and
my gosh.
maybe it will be a present for someone else, or
Mm.
maybe it will just be there, and at the right moment, we can pour a glass of wine for 6 people at a dinner. And it's not a big glass,
Beautiful.
but everybody can enjoy it." And that's actually saying alcohol is not evil. It's how we approach it that's wrong.
That's That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Everyone is different. Everyone has different paths. Everyone has different emotional histories, traumas. But I think if you really think about it, alcohol is fuel. It's like petrol, adding petrol to a fire,
Yeah,
right? It
yeah,
goes like, pew. And
yeah,
if you are someone that's fiery already, and that does have a history of being very reactional and trauma, it doesn't mesh, Bill. It just doesn't.
yes,
And my relationship with alcohol is so much better than what it used to be, right? It used to be like devil juice for me, if I'm being totally honest. It really was. I didn't like who I was or who I became when I drank or when I hit my limit or went over my limit. Now that doesn't happen, but it's the way that I feel after where I go into where it's the fog, it's the cloud of depression that lingers over.
yeah,
And like what you said before with your client, she probably didn't even realize she didn't realize it was this. And
yeah. I
she's
mean,
thinking something's wrong in her life, and it could just be simple as check in with your habits. Are they serving you or are they actually removing you from the light? And I think that's what alcohol does.
now she was never a person that drank to the excess where you fall over, or you stumble around, or you throw up, or something like that. She was having 3 glasses of champagne, but that was enough to lower her vibration to the point where she's not functioning optimally. Now,
Mhm.
if you're exercising, you keep on wanting to function optimally. Um,
Yeah.
you
And you have
can't
the
do something
split.
like
Yeah.
that on a regular basis. You can do it as a one-off, as saying, "Okay, I'm letting my hair down tonight,
Yeah.
and I'm going to get messy."
Mm,
But I'm not going to drive, and I'm with friends and I'm going to be looked after. But I'm going to allow myself to get messy. There is a place for that.
mhm.
But then you needed to have created space after being messy of recovery.
Mm.
You know,
And yeah.
I don't climb into the mud with my office clothes, right? I'm wearing white pants
Mhm.
today. But there might be an occasion in the future where it's appropriate for me to get in the mud,
Mm.
right? But in my day to days, I make sure there's no mud being splattered onto me. But if it
Yeah.
becomes, I need to do a mud bath to do a cleansing ceremony or something, yeah, then let's just go for it.
Mm.
There is time and place. I definitely won't do a mud bath ceremony every week. It's
You,
maybe a once in my life kind of thing.
yes. I think you also have a responsibility, right? And you know your purpose very well. So
Yeah.
you're very on point with your habits.
Well, thank you, Marula. Like everybody else, I can still improve,
For
right?
instance, like maybe share that what time you wake up in the morning and what do you do first thing?
So,
Again,
yeah,
this is not for everyone. You're just sharing your experience,
yeah,
but
this is
I,
definitely not for everyone, but I get up at 5:30 in the morning,
mhm.
and I have a whole series of micro habits that I do um, that bring a smile to my face.
I know you just lit up.
Um, One of the greatest moments for me in the morning is when I jump on the scooter and I drive to the beach to go and teach a class. I
Oh.
can't help myself but smile, irrespective of the weather, right?
Mm.
And this morning it was so beautiful. The sea was
Mm.
calm, there was no ripple on it, there was that balmy feeling,
Mm.
um, and it was just fresh and crisp. Yeah, that what's not to be happy about when that's the reality of
Mm.
around you. Friday, it was like I was driving in a fog bank, like on the inside of a ping pong ball. But that was also an experience, the dew hitting my face. It's the freshness of being out there. I sincerely believe um, that if we show up, the universe meets us. And if we can find the joy in that showing up, then we get ahead. Early mornings for me is a big deal because one moment, I've got to stop. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. My thing said I need to plug in if I want to keep talking to you. So I plug
Oh,
in.
let's definitely plug that in.
But micro habits are small things, right? So I am doing Duolingo at the moment. I'm learning Italian. I'm on day
Mhm.
196. My initial target was to get to 200 days of being disciplined and every day learning something Italian.
Mm,
Um, it's a small thing, right? It
mm.
takes me less than 5 minutes. I think they want you to study 10 minutes a day. I seldom get to 10 minutes. Um,
5 minutes. Wow.
but that little bit of Italian is starting to anchor in me. I heard an Italian song, a love song play this morning, and I could understand some of the words.
Wow.
And that was like, oh, now he's singing about that. That's interesting. Like, he's going to see you tomorrow, like.
And that's
So,
5 minutes out of your day. Imagine what we do in 5 minutes. We could be
yes.
scrolling on social media, or you could be learning a new language.
So, how many 5 minute habits can I stack on top of each other? So, I do
Mm.
5 minutes of Duolingo. I do a 5 minute practice of playing a chess puzzle every day. Um, I do a
Because what's that for?
because I like chess,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And a puzzle is different to a full game. A puzzle, you have to figure out the next three moves. Um, and it just keeps that chess image alive in my head.
Interesting.
And it's about problem solving. And I love solving problems. So it's challenging me to solve a problem that can be solved relatively quickly. Um, and yes, and I get a sense of achievement out of it.
Mm.
It's like getting a cheap thrill, right?
Yeah,
If I can solve that problem in 60 seconds, I get a cheap thrill out of it. Yes, I got it. And,
amazing.
and that yes is a yes throughout my body.
Mm-hmm.
So if I stack another habit on top of that I'm doing currently, I have an accountability partner and I do the Course of Miracle book work every day.
Yes, I love that you're doing this. I'm also reading this.
And that I take a little bit more than 5 minutes, maybe that's a 10 or 15 minute, and that might repeat. The theme of that might repeat through the day that I think about it again. But that is a deep spiritual book, right?
For
And I've got an
sure.
accountability partner for that because it's harder. And I thought, okay, well, for this habit, I have to set up a network of at least one other person that that I have to report to that I've done this work because it's more serious,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, people do that with attending a yoga class, right? Um, and they might hold themselves accountable by buying a month pass. And so,
Yeah,
uh, I've bought a month pass, now I've got to turn up. We've got to find ways or little tricks to keep ourselves accountable. The Duolingo does it for me. It tells me how many, every day it tells me, Papa, you've done now.
mm, yes.
You're on a streak of so long, like, so
Little wins.
it's little wins, it's
Yeah.
little yeses. So by stacking up those yeses in my life, my whole life ends up being a yes story.
I love it. And you go to sleep, feeling rewarded. Like, I did that today.
Yes, and I go to sleep feeling that I've done something today. It wasn't just a day of scrolling or where life passed me by. I
Mm,
actively engaged in life.
yeah, yeah. Amazing. All right.
Going to sleep, then also, there's not things that I didn't do for the day. Or if there's something that I left over, I'll make a commitment to tend to it the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're engaging with me, right, you'll see that you send me a message, I respond to it straight away. You
You
send me,
do.
I'll answer it straight away. It frees up mental space.
Oh, I need to get better at this. You're very good at this. You respond quickly. I feel like messages overwhelm me and I put them off. I almost put them into my to-do list, reply messages, when it could just be a simple 2 second reply. But I put it
Yes.
off, I put it off. I don't know what this is. Yeah, I get overwhelmed with messages.
So because I book all my clients through messages, I find that I have to keep a diary with me. So
Mm,
sometimes I don't want to respond to a message because I don't want to forget the commitment that I've made with them. Say it's
hmm
an appointment, and I say, yeah, you can come see me next Wednesday at 12 o'clock. If I don't write it down, 12 o'clock comes next Wednesday and it will be in my head. Who did I say I'm going to meet now?
For sure. For sure.
So that helped me a lot with messages. But I think if you leave messages to stack up, very quickly it becomes overwhelmed.
hmm
And same with emails.
Oh my gosh, yes. But again, I schedule all this. I put it into part of my to-do list, reply emails. Like I'll set out an hour where I reply to DMs on Instagram, reply to messages. Like it's all work. It feels like work.
Yes, it is all work, but if it's more work if you bunch it
Split
all together.
it. Yeah.
Whereas if I respond, you send me a message, I respond to you straight away, even if it's just a thumbs up.
Mm,
I have dealt with it, and you're not one out of 100 people that I'm dealing with.
hmm
When I respond to you straight away, you feel answered,
hmm
right? I'm sure when you're, say, in the house that you grew up in, if your mum shouts, Marula,
hmm
and you don't answer, it creates
Yeah,
it creates a tension,
that's
right?
true.
She will escalate that. She'll shout louder, and maybe the third time she'll scream. And if you still haven't answered, your bloody bedroom door is going to bang open.
Yes. But I
Right?
also do think that not everyone deserves, okay, that's not the right word. Take it back. But you have to know your priorities. It may not be my priority to message back David from Instagram. It's like I'm just putting a random name out there, but it's not. Like I
Poor
have
David.
I do have a list of priorities that I need to do before I spend my time and energy doing that. Now I know there's a mutual respect on either side. He's taking time out of his day. Again, there's no David, by the way. I'm just making this up. But he's taking time out of his day to message, right? I hand on my heart, I need to get better at this, but I think it's also not being constantly available and on to reply. You don't need to always be available. I need to respond to this. I need to like it's kind
I
of
have to discipline myself. I'll tell you where I discipline myself. 10 o'clock at night, if the phone keeps on binging because I'm on some group and somebody's in the hospital and they're getting treatment and everybody wants to get updates, but then people start chatting, those groups.
oh I don't because I'm not a part of any group chats.
So that group either gets archived, right? Or I turn my sound off
Mm.
because I think there comes a point where you have to let it go, right? Um, and I deserve to sleep.
Yeah. So
So,
call me selfish, but I think I've always been this way. Like I don't think it's your priorities. Is it sleep
but
or is it responding to a message that you don't really care about?
okay, but that's now my exception, right? When it happens during the day at 11 o'clock, if I'm not busy with a client or actively busy at that moment,
Yeah.
I tell myself I have to respond and attend to it straight away.
Mm.
If I do that, I don't need the list.
Okay, let me actually flip this, right?
Yeah.
Because the way you respond, Gideon, is with a tick.
Yes. Yes.
Check.
That's a thumbs up. You've been
Okay.
heard.
Okay. So I put things off because I won't be able to respond in the way that I want to respond right now. I'm too overwhelmed. I can't respond, and it's going to come off rude. I put more effort into the way I respond rather than a tick. For you, this is just simple check. I've seen it. Yes. I can't respond like that. For me, that's rude. Not rude because I get you and I know what you're thinking and I know the way you operate, but I could never tick someone. Even to thumbs up someone makes me so uncomfortable. I'm like, how rude. Like, so I do a thought out text and I put a lot of effort into text and it comes from the heart. So that's why I push it off to the side and be like, okay, I'll reply to this on Thursday. So I'll block it out my calendar, 2 hours, and then respond to DMs and messages. So it's just, yeah, it's funny the way different people operate, but people can be very blunt on text, and maybe this is
This,
better.
you know what this reminds me of, and this is a good thing for me to think about. I, I give people homework sometimes, right? And and if there is another party involved, and I don't do this very often, but any of you listening can do this. If there is somebody that you love and that you haven't paid enough attention to, and I think most of us have people like this in our lives,
Yeah.
write them a bloody letter, like a
Mm,
written letter, right? I did this with my kids. I can tell you the story. I've been separated for many years, and we shared the kids, and sometimes the kids were with me on holidays and weekends and stuff, but sometimes I was away overseas.
mm,
And I started writing handwritten letters to my son and mailing them. We were still talking on Skype back then,
mm.
um, where it's FaceTime now, and my kids are grown up now. And my ex-wife told me, like months later, months after I started doing this, she was cleaning my son's room and she found a stack of these letters underneath his mattress in his room. Now, what that tells me is that he didn't read it just once, and it meant enough to him to hide it and to keep it close all at the same time. The
Mm.
impact that I have when somebody handwrites me a letter is vastly more impactful to me than if somebody writes me an email or a message.
Yeah.
I saw this with an ex-girlfriend. She was very into writing cards,
Mm.
and it has the same thing. Whenever we went to stay at someone's house, she would have a card in her handbag somewhere, and she will write them a nice message that's personalized and leave it on the, say, on the pillow of the bed to
Mm.
for them to find later. But she was doing the same thing. She's trying to create a deeper impact to share the sincere appreciation that we could have stayed there the night.
It's beautiful.
So I
But
think when we physically do things that's not electronic for another person, because our age has become so electronic,
yeah,
I think it has more meaning.
much more meaning. But I was just going to say, unfortunately, the world that we live in now, it's so uncommon. And
But
it's like you, I would never even think to do this. But hearing you in this experience, I'm like, wow, it's beautiful. And I journal all the time and I write all the time. So why wouldn't I write someone a letter? Because that's really truly when we write, it's coming from the heart. When there's technology there, you're still coming from the heart, but it's fast. It's in a way that it's done fast, it's communicated fast. BRB. You're not gonna like,
And
like
and
everything's quick.
sometimes love likes to move slowly.
Oh,
It doesn't want to be rushed. It also, I take it further. There are still mailmen in our country. There's not many
yeah.
of them, but mail still gets delivered. Most people just receive bills. That's all they receive in the mail, or a bank statement.
Yes.
But to receive a letter that has a stamp on, that has got a handwritten address on the outside,
Wow.
for the mailman, that's a smart, because that's why he's a mailman. He wants to deliver letters from people to people, right?
Mhm.
So the mailmen get a tiny little buzz out of it. But the person that gets the mail out of their box, when they haven't seen a handwritten letter for years, right?
Oh,
Most of
I
us
love this.
haven't seen a handwritten letter in years.
Mm.
And that's what makes the impact.
Oh, this is beautiful. You've just inspired me to write a letter. Oh, let's bring this back. This is
Yes,
amazing.
let's write letters to each other. Let's write letters of love.
Love letters. How special
Yes.
would that be to open up a letter that someone has written you? Your whole aura would expand.
And think about if you send a text or a WhatsApp message or an email, it's what we talked about fast, right?
Mhm.
It's situational. I'll see you tomorrow, or did you see the play that happened last night, or that's what's happening right now. But when you
Mhm.
write a letter, it's broader, it's slower, it's wider, it's more encompassing, and it assumes that the minute by minute stuff is taken care of.
Yeah. This just reminds me of this is such a great reminder to strip it back and to go back to the classic and the simple things of life, right? Let's take it back to kind of
Yeah,
how we used to do it, not modernize it even more. In a world that's modernizing and AIing everything, let's take it back. Let's do the opposite.
let's slow down.
Let's slow down. Amazing.
I'm
All
not
right,
saying
well,
we have to live in slow motion. I'm not saying become a snail, but I'm saying have the chameleon ability to be a snail
yes.
or an eagle.
Ooh, Gideon.
You know,
Wise words.
don't neglect the snail. The snail has
Say
its
that again.
own. Don't neglect the snail.
No, the ability to be both the snail and the eagle.
Yes.
I hope people are writing this down.
And I mean, I've never been a great fan of snails because I garden. But in Japan, the snail is a symbol of fertility.
Hmm.
It's also got that spiral in it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's beauty in slow things if we take the time to see it.
Oh my gosh. I always say the slow one wins the race.
Yeah, it's in our stories for children. You know,
Yeah.
we even used to call it snail mail.
Snail mail.
The
Hmm.
slow-paced mail.
And
Yeah,
snail gel is incredible for your skin, by the way.
and there you go. So now we've got a whole snail thing going on.
Oh, well,
I
I think
love
we need to, huh?
I love how our conversations can reach very strange places.
I know. And I think we need to wrap it up
Yeah,
because this has been amazing. Um, and I love the way that we finished. Let's just simplify things. Let's take it slower, but be able to bounce back to the
yeah,
fast and stay up to date with the modern
yeah.
world as it's always shifting and adjusting. Do you want to leave? Do you want to say any last words, any words of advice, anything that's coming to your heart to leave anyone with?
In Europe, where you are right now, it's springtime. It's a really good time to do a liver cleanse. It's a really good time to up your immunity for those pesky bugs that's going around. And it's a good time to reset your sensitivity because in the winter you become very sensitive. But now there's so much pollen and inflammation running around. So um, that's why I'm giving my the great north, the message. Um,
Mm.
Time to rejuvenate in terms of your health. In the
Yes.
southern, in the great south, we're going into the winter. We're in autumn. Autumn equinox has just been, so we have to change gear and harvest and divide and store
Mm.
our journey. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. I love these conversations with Meroula. I'm sure there's going to be more of them. So see you next time.
Thank you so much, guys. I will see you back on the podcast very soon. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And as always, we're so grateful for Gideon's wisdom. Thank you.
Love to all.